Hi there, this is Chef Bill at the Culinary Institute of America. Today I thought it'd be fun to show you how to poach an egg. It's not rocket science, but if you don't know what you're doing, it can be really frustrating. So, first thing I'm going to suggest, get your mise en place together. This is another way of saying be prepared. So I've got a pot of water that's at a simmer. I've got my eggs, I've got a little bit of vinegar, and I have a spoon that is slotted to allow moisture to come through. Here's where we're going to begin. I want to add a little bit of vinegar to this water, and what that will do is create an acidic environment where protein will coagulate more effectively. And in effect, that's what you're asking these eggs to do when you poach them in water. So just a tablespoon or two of vinegar, and that will make all the difference. Next, I'm going to take the egg and just crack it into a small bowl. Be a little bit careful with this egg as you do. You don't want to disrupt it too much. So certainly you don't want to break the yolk. I like to put them into a bowl like this because it allows me the luxury of lowering this into the water very slowly, but still keeping it together in the bowl. Now, before we do, take a look at this pan. I have water in here deep enough so that the egg will be completely covered by water, but not so deep that the egg has to fall a long way before it gets to the bottom, because the longer it falls, the more the shape and the conformation of the egg will be disrupted. I have the pan a little bit off center. What that does is it creates bubbles on this side, and over here it tends to be a little bit cooler. Those bubbles will hold the egg up off the base of the pan and keep it from sticking. All right? So grab this at one side. If you're afraid of burning yourself, you can use a coffee cup that has a handle on it. That also works very well, but this is fine for me. Okay, so we're going to lower this egg slowly into the water and try and put it someplace where you see those bubbles on the bottom. Nestle it up against the side of the pot, and that will help contain the egg until it sets enough to hold its own shape. Here we go. Lower it in. Let the water flow gently into the bowl. And then move it to the edge and slowly tip it out of the bowl, bringing the egg whites up and over the top. All right. I'm going to take another egg and crack it into the bowl. Now this one has reached a point where it's set enough that I can move it away from that sweet spot over to the cooler part of the pan. So it is truly poaching. And then I'm going to take this and I'll do exactly the same thing. By keeping them lined up like this, I know exactly which one has been in longer and which one recently went in. Take your time. Don't be intimidated by the steam coming off the pot. This is no worse than taking a hot shower. Okay. While these are cooking, we need to decide when the egg is ready to come out of the pot. And I could tell you time, but if the eggs are cold or room temperature, the time will vary. If the eggs are extra large or jumbo, they'll take longer. If they're small or peewees, they'll take a shorter amount of time. More effective is to take them out when they're ready. So what does that mean? Well, you can come in here and scoop the egg up and give it a little shake. If it looks completely liquid, don't take it out yet. That makes good sense. I would guess these are going to take about 2.5 minutes, but somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes is where you want to be. While we're waiting for them to come out, you can set up a little landing pad. Now, the landing pad may be a English muffin that's been toasted with a little piece of sautéed ham on top, and you've got your hollandaise over here so that you're ready to make eggs Benedict. But really, more often than not, I think what you want to do is poach these, take them out of the water, and put them onto an absorbent towel like this. And when they're all poached, then you get your breakfast ready. And you can put them back into the water for just a minute, not even a minute, 20 seconds to reheat. That way you can serve everybody at once rather than one person, and then one person, and then one person. All right. Let me come back up in here. Now I'm going to give this a little shake. You can see it's significantly firmer than it was. It's not quite there, but it still looks a little liquid, huh? And so put that back in. That was the first I put in. And this was the second, and this one is a little softer still. Maybe you noticed that there's a ragged edge on each of these eggs. That's entirely appropriate. There will be a little bit of the egg white, the albumin, that spills out and escapes the egg. We can trim that off so that we get an egg with a nice uniform shape. You can see some of it will fall off of its own accord. I've got two little pieces right here that just came off when I lifted the eggs up. All right, again, let's take a look. Firmer still. I would say this is about 10 seconds away from being done. That's the first one. And the second one is about the same, which means to me the second egg was probably a little bit smaller. At this point, I'm going to turn the heat off. We don't need any more heat. We'll let the water drain off. And you can use this towel to help cushion the eggs fall. So there it is right there. I'm going to turn it around. All right, this egg is poached. Now, before you put it on a plate, make sure you blot any excess moisture off the egg. If you don't, you'll have a watery mess on your plate. I'm going to turn this out onto the plate, and let's have a quick look at what a well-poached egg looks like inside. I cut it open, and you can see the yolk is still liquid. That's going to make a really delicious Eggs Benedict.